Nitro Is The Glory,
but e-buggy pays the bills.
Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this grabbing racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right. You know?
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
$100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no!
I like this.
Yes, indeed, Nitro Is The Glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 230 of the No Name RC podcast. That's right, number 230. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great. And yeah, just a little quick PMB recap. Actually, it's not quick. It was like an hour and 45 minutes. It was good. Lucas and I geek out on that. It's all about PMB. I thought it was cool to have Lucas on as a co-host because he was there as a vendor, as a spectator. He did not race, and he was able to see things and get the 411 on a lot of things that I was not able to because, we explain all of that. I was commentating. But anyway, that's a quick synopsis of what goes on this podcast. But I have a few shout outs, some thanks to say, and a few race announcements coming up that I'm going to go through real quick. We do not have any high-tech RC news or anything like that. We will be back to a regular scheduled podcast next week. We'll have the arrogant one, the professor of everything in her, answering your questions as well as, pissing people off. But I would like to say thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. It was awesome at Psycho Nitro Blast. I met so many new people. I'll talk about that in a bit, but thank you to everybody around the world that tuned in on the online and watched and joined us. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Shout out to the NNRC patrons. Thank you guys for everything. I am definitely doing a patron-only podcast after Easter. It is Good Friday as I am recording this, so happy Easter to everybody if you celebrate it. It's a big holiday here in the DR. My family and everybody were chilling out for the weekend, but I'm back on the grind on Monday because I've got pre-recorded podcasts. I've got lots to drop here. But thank you to all the patrons of the No Name RC podcast. Truly, without you guys' support, I cannot do this. You guys helps me out a lot here and has helped me be able to do this for the last 4 years. So thank you to the patrons of the NNRC and the YouTube membership. If you wish to be a patron or a YouTube member, the links for that are in the written description of this podcast. All right. Also, we have some awesome companies that have supported the NNRC for a long time. We can't do without these guys either. Showing the sponsors some love, shows the podcast some love. If you're a company, you like what we're doing, you want to be a part of this, hit me up. We have tiers for everybody. They are invisiblespeed.net, High Tech RC, Some Pedal USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Clinic RC, Ignite Design RC, bringing gas tracks back. Racecraft USA, get pitted with the command module. WRC, shout out to Danny Paz, just helping me out with all my artwork and all that stuff. Him and I work very well. Connie Swenson at the House of RC, RCGP, Call RC. We got some products here. We have a coupon code for that. Shout out to Heath for sending me some stuff out here. And shout out to our drivers, David Runnefalk, Jared Tebo, Robert Battier, and Alex Hagberg. David is actually at the Montpellier e-buggy race this weekend. All right. Just like I said, a few shout outs before I go on and whatnot. And then Max. See, I'm so used to having Max on my mind that it's actually Lucas. But shout out to my good buddy Mike Norris. It was his birthday yesterday. Him and his wife and everybody up there in New Mexico in Albuquerque are getting their ARC War race track together. So I wish them all the best. And I just need to really shout out to a few people that I met. I know I can't say everybody's name that I met at PMB. I will be honest, man. It was really, I still got blown away by about the amount of people that listen to what we do here on the podcast. And it's really always great to go see my extended RC family. You know, I know a lot of people in the Southeast, but this time when I was able to get out, because there were a lot of new people at the PMB, a lot of new people came up and introduced themselves, saying, man, I listen to the podcast. Thank you for everything you do. I listen to it while I'm wrench. You know, some people tell me what they like, they don't like. But everybody's just happy. Like, you know what I mean? And they showed me a lot of love. I met a lot of people. Saw some people that I met at like the 10 scale races that I know now. And like every time I go to one of these races and meet new people, it just really extends my RC family even more. Like I always say, I'm truly blessed. I'm blessed with rich in relationships. So, you know, to be around this element was definitely what I needed. It helped me out. And yeah, before I go on, I want to say thank you to Brandon Ruddy, Live RC, Scotty, and everybody there that brought me out there. I talk how that happened with Lucas. And also I want to say thank you to Dave and his RaceTime crew for having me there. As you guys know, Dave and I haven't had the best relationship over the last couple of years, so it was good to go there, talk to him. We had a great talk. You know, we have a mutual respect for each other. So, you know, and also I say it with Lucas sometimes, you know, we always say we got to work with each other. So this is my way of working with him. And I think he went all out on the media this year. He had Danny up there. He had Jacob. He had a full crew of Live RC. So Live RC did a good job. They had like 2 cameras going, moving cameras. They had static cams. They had 2 producers. They had Scotty. They had me. So kudos to everybody. I think Dave really pushed a lot of money and wanted to do a really great broadcast. I believe it was good. People that in the comments joined us and people watching at home. I believe it was good. And yeah, it's always good to see and bring new ideas and new faces to things like that. So it was truly an honor to work with Live RC and be at PMB. I needed it. It was good for the soul. And now, like, for me, just having worked with 2 of the best in the industry with, really enjoying working with RC Racing TV and Nick Damon, and then working with Scotty and Live RC. And of course, I've done a lot of work. I've done some work with Danny. I'm really enjoying the stream side of things. And yeah, it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. So thank you for that opportunity. And thank you to everybody out there that supports me, because without you guys, I would never get these opportunities. So yeah, when I get to these races, I just like to go around and say hello, shake hands, and just see people and talk to my friends and meet new people. And I was able to do that. So some of these people I met I finally met Zach Donovan of Donovan RC. What's up, dude? This guy is like, he came up and he shook my hand. He almost broke every bone in my hand. You know, that's that Brazilian jiu-jitsu that Joe Zaire was talking about. But it was good to see him at a Nitro race. Shout out to Zach Arsenault, Josh Heine, and all the Hillside crew up there in the Northeast. Toddy and the RC Excitement crew. Met a lot of those guys at Masters of Dirt, and they were here doing 8 skills. Good to see. I got to see the Carmendes, Marlo, and Carter, DJ, all those Southeast stalwarts, Don Elliott. Like, I got to see Joker, David Olson, all these guys that I have gotten to know growing up. I'm not growing up, but just coming to the Southeast race scene. A big contingent of Canadians from Canada, as my buddy would say. Got to meet them. Got to meet the young guy, Dylan Raposo, who I watch his Instagram and all that stuff. He seems to be doing very well. Got to see my buddy Robbie Smith and meet his family. He was there racing his son. I met Robbie at RCGP. We chat quite often. Good friend of mine. He's turned out. It was really good to see Drew Singer. Like, I have not seen Drew for a long time. If you guys remember our call-ins, Drew always used to call in and have some of the wildest stories. So he took a little hiatus from RC. He got busy with real life and his real job. And he's back. He had this trailer all painted up. He had a truck all painted up. Nitro Pro was there. He was busy. You know, he had food. And, you know, if you guys know Drew's just good people. And he will give you everything. Like, he could say, hey, you want some food? You want this? You want that? And so we got to see him a bit. And he's like, man, we got to have a podcast. We got to have an after hours podcast, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, cool. We'll do it. So it was good to see Drew. Good to see Brant and Beach RC and Lucas, who was on her. Just all them guys. Got to see all my Mayako mates, Tony Scarcella, Jason, meet Mike Hess and those guys. Good to see Tebo and Graham again. And just, it was a great vibe there. It was a great vibe. I talk about this with Lucas. Also, shout out to the Bermuda crew. It was good to see these guys. So about 5 Bermudians made the trip. One of them, Quincy Aberdeen, is my arch nemesis for many years, but my good friend. Thank you, Aberdeen, for not almost cutting my finger off at dinner like you did last time when you was cutting my steak and almost stabbing me in my leg later on that night. I don't know, man. When you have friends like that, you don't need enemies. Thank you for not bringing me a bottle of rum or even a dark and stormy, not even a sniff. Thank you, Abba. But congratulations on your podium. And Ryan and Jonathan making their respective top 5. It was good to see some Bermudians, Bird, George, and those guys, because it's always good to see my people from Bermuda be able to talk in my full Bermudian accent and like just joke around about stuff that only we guys understand and we can understand. So it's always good to see them, and they always come to this race, so that's good too. If I missed somebody, I do apologize. If I missed anybody's birthday, it's been a short week. I apologize. I did not get out and about as much as I want to when you work in the booth. If I missed you at PMB, I do apologize. Hopefully, I'll see you at the next race. And thank you once again, Dave, Bobby, Laverty. I had a blast. It was good. In some not so good news, I got this message on the way to the race. It was sad to me, but rest in peace to Adam Simmons. I believe that's how you say his name. He is a racer in Texas. I believe he raced up in at Mike's, and earlier, I think maybe late last year, I kind of was told about his condition and how he was going through chemo with cancer. And apparently he must have listened to the podcast, and his friends asked me to give him a shout out to raise his spirits while he's going through chemo. And then we actually got talking over a couple of times, and he would message me once in a while, and we would talk while he's having chemo. And I think he was listening to some of the podcasts while he's doing that. But I unfortunately found out that he passed away and lost his battle with cancer. And he lost it, I believe, Friday morning as we drove up to PMB. So it was very, very sad to hear that. And I think like anybody, we lose, like I always say this, when we lose somebody in our RC family, I think it hits us all. So my condolences to his family, my condolences to the Mike's Hobbies crew there in Texas. And I thought it was fitting that Brandon Road, who also works at Mike's, got a 3rd place at this race, and I'm sure that Adam would have liked that a lot. So our condolences go out to him and the Texas community, RC community. It's always sad when we see something like that. All right, you know what? We have some race announcements coming up. Good news. I am actually going to this race now. It looks like I'll be booking flights next week. I'm going to do my NNRC stuff as well as some stream stuff for the International Buggy Challenge being held May 12th to 14th in Barcelos, Portugal. That's right, the International Buggy Challenge in Barcelos, Portugal, 2023. I'll be going out to that. I believe all the top names in Europe. It is the weekend after Silver State. I am looking forward to going to Portugal. I've heard nothing but good things about the food, so I'm excited about that. But to go to this track, I think the Euros was his last year, where Ronafalk won. It's a glue track. It's different. I can't wait. So looking forward to that. Some race announcements. It's a lot of racing going on over the next 3 months. It's incredible. It's like every weekend there has some racing. This weekend we have the Easter GP with my buddy Chris Lovell down there at Brookthorpe RC. RC Racing TV is going to do the coverage. I know they're struggling with a little bit of rain right now. Whew, that's too bad. But they are going to have like full coverage with people going there. A couple of my friends are going there, and I hope everything goes well for them. We have the Montpellier GP electric version going on this weekend in France. Ronafalk is there, and a couple other guys. Coming up, my good friend Justin Wildy of his work series. Has his series coming up. Entries are open up for that. Registration for the Carpet Nets finishes today, talking to Clayton. That is actually next weekend. That is more entries than there were last year, so that's good to see. This race is growing. It took a little while to get there. Also coming up next weekend is Lance's Montpelier Mills Pond Florida RC Championships, which sold out in 30 minutes and broke RC sign up. Thank you, Lance McDonald, for breaking RC sign up. It was good to see Lance as well at PNB. Badlands is having their spring sting coming up. I think the weekend after. North Georgia Shootout is the second to last weekend, I want to say, of April, or is it the last? No, it's the last weekend of April, as well as the NXT warm-up in Denmark, I believe. That Ron Fuck is going to that. We have the Philippine Masters coming up as well. That will be the first weekend of May. That's coming up. I think that's the date. This is actually the first date of the Asia Buggy Challenge, which I actually have my buddies Zach and Ben who are involved in this, and I have a podcast coming out just for like Australia that we recorded. It's mostly for the Australian guys. If you want to listen in, it's cool. I catch up with Zach and Ben Panic, and they tell us about this race. So the Philippine Masters, then it's a race. It's a series going to their home track in Australia. So that's coming up. That's going to have full coverage. Scotty's going to be there. He's got his team there, so we'll be able to watch that. We have Nats warm-up coming up. We have Silver State coming up. And we have, of course, IBC coming up. And then we ain't even talking about after that. We got Visions race, NXT race, Euros, E-Euros, Nationals. Dark Nationals. Oh, we got so much race. It's so much racing coming up. It's crazy. Wicked Weekend. All this racing coming up. And I heard there's more races coming. So, it is going to be busy out there. Lots and lots and lots of racing. Lots of racing. All right, guys. Enough jibber jabber. I think it's time to go in with Lucas. This is my first time kind of doing a race recap with Lucas. I thought it was pretty good. He was funny. Like I said, he told me stuff in this that I had no idea that happened. So it was good. He definitely had some inside scoops. This is brought to you by Invisible Speed as well as Techno RC and High Tech RC. Thank you for all their support, High Tech. Being as this is an unconventional just recap podcast, I want to thank all the sponsors for their support for bringing this to you. And remember, the invisiblespeed.net course is going on. This does not include the 20% that says in this video. But JQ needs to make a new one, and he has yet to make a new one, so it's all his fault. Thank you to Invisible Speed. You guys can sign up at invisiblespeed.net. We have links for this in the written description as well. Also, thank you to Techno RC for their continued support. Had a very great conversation with Matt at PNB, as we always do. Thank you to Techno RC.
Techno RC. Techno RC. Techno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.technorc.com for a complete catalog of their products. Techno RC. Excellence in engineering. Hashtag Techno Takeover.
What's up, everybody? A little bit different of a recap this weekend for PNB. It's Easter weekend. It's kind of chilling. It's Thursday as we're doing this. Yeah, I'm having a beer too because it's Easter holiday and it's kind of a big deal here in the DR. And I had a really good weekend this past weekend. I got to see this dude, which is Lucas Lauren. If you guys don't know him, he does some excellent videos. He works for Beach RC. He did vlogs. He's always traveling if you guys don't know, he's been on the podcast a few times. This is my boy. He loves RC, and he was at the race with me. Well, he was at the race as
I won everything. I pretty much won everything.
Yeah, but you didn't race.
I won it all, but I was automatic winner. So everyone was competing for a second in everything.
Well, you went as a vendor and spectator this year, not racing.
Right.
Did you do any video?
I started, and then I lost interest.
Okay. I know how that goes. And you was probably busy as well.
I was busy. That's the thing. I was busy. I didn't have time to follow any stories.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really feeling the vlogs right now. You know, like, I don't know. I go back and I watch some of my later vlogs, and I'm not feeling it. So
take a break.
Yeah. In order for me to make something like a race oriented video, I want to do more documentary type stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I didn't have time to follow any stories or anything. So I took pictures.
It's just you and Brent, right?
Yeah, just me and Brent. Brent didn't do shit, but
he raced.
Stick around all damn weekend. I did all the work. He just sat there and didn't do anything. So yeah, I don't know. I tried to start shooting video, and about, I don't know, comes late Friday, maybe Saturday, I was just like, I'm not doing it.
Well, I mean, Brent's also earned a right to have a race, I think. I haven't seen him have just race in a long time and not do anything else. I mean, I'm sure he did anything else. He's always on the move, shaking and baking. That's Brent.
Yeah. Well, his job at races is to, kiss the babibies and, stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. He did a good job. Had a great weekend.
Kiss the wives. Hug the babies, however that goes, Yeah. Meet and greet.
Well, Ultimate had a great weekend.
What about him?
Ultimate.
Yep. A lot of people run Ultimate. So Dakota Phend killed it. Who else was running Ultimate?
Seth Van
Dalen. He was looking good out there.
Yeah. And then S-Fox looking pretty good. Brandon Rose. Woo.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're going to talk about
Brandon Rose. I don't think Brandon Rose gets enough credit.
I don't think so either. Well, I'll tell you what. He's had a lot of DNFs, right? And he probably should have, but he has been steadily making A mains for the last 2 years. And not finished, when he doesn't have a DNF, he has finished in the top 7, I would say. Top 10 of those A mains. Because most A mains are more than 10 now. But this weekend, impressive weekend for him. He was super happy. It's good to see him happy. Because I'm seeing him when he gets upset, and you can see the passion coming out of him when he has an issue. And I think, he's happy right now. And he's got a good, his program seems to be good. I'm not saying that he wasn't fast previously, but I think having that team around you is helping him. Like right around him is definitely helping him. And, the S-Works is a good car. The S-Works is a good car.
Yep, S-Works good. Brandon's looking really good. Joe's looking good. S-Works definitely growing brand. But I was just thinking about Brandon Rose earlier. I don't know, maybe today or yesterday, but I was just thinking, this guy's been making mains for a couple years now. I don't even think he's out of high school yet.
He is. He's out now, I think.
Is he out of high school?
Yeah, it's like last year. I think it was his last year.
Okay. So he's really young. He's like, what, 17, maybe 18?
18 now. 18, 19, I would say.
Like, it just feels like people talk about him, but they don't really talk about him like, they
don't put him in the fight. They don't put him in the fight.
They don't
I know
put
what
him
you
in the fight, and he, he's definitely in the fight now. He's been in the fight for a couple years, and I just don't think he gets enough RC love. Hopefully,
he will after this race.
Maybe
he will. All
right, well, love, just not enough. Need to love Brandon Rose just a little bit more, people.
Well, Texas loves him, and that's like half of America.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Or 1/4 of America. I mean, Texas is so big.
We'll give it that.
Yeah. All right, but he had a great weekend, and we're going to talk about that. All right, so if you guys are Lucas and I are going to recap the Psycho Nitro Blast that took place this past weekend. A lot of you are probably shocked that I actually went to this race because I was quite content. I was quite prepared to watch the coverage at home. That was my plan for this past weekend, but basically, so Brandon Rhodey kind of messaged me and said, "Hey, I need to talk to you." And he shot me he called me and he's like, "Hey, I know you did commentating at the Worlds and RCGP and all that stuff. Would you be interested in commentating with Live RC?" And Scotty said, "Of course, the opportunity to work with them and work with Scotty." And he goes, "All right, how would you like to work this weekend?" And I'm just like, what? I'm like, "This is Tuesday night at 10. And I'm like, "You mean?" He's like, "Yeah, PMB." And I was like, "You mean this weekend, like the PMB 2023?" Because anyway. And I said to him, I said, "Look, let me talk to my wife, because my wife just kind of got a little business going. She got a little bar, small little bar with like billiards tables and all there. So she's got that open on the weekends, and she had like some stuff planned." And I also said, I'll go. You know that Dave and I we're not on the best terms going into this, right? And I said, honestly, I don't know if that's how I felt. I said, I don't know if I'm welcome there. If Dave's all right with it, then cool, I'm coming. Like, definitely, I can do it.
Well, what's the problem with you and Dave?
Well, I think we've had we had a chat. We kind of worked our differences out, and he's been a little bit upset at some of the things that we've said on her
because you're critical.
Yes, and I understand
on the
that
podcast, because it is a podcast, and you got to talk about stuff. If you just talked about flowers and roses all day, no one's going to care. You got to be critical. If you're going to give positive feedback, you got to do some negative feedback. It's part of the show.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
It's not like, we want to jab at Dave. Dave is the golden standard of what to do.
Indoor racing.
He
has the best indoor racing
events. He does it well. He's been doing it forever. But to be critical, you got to be critical, because what else are we going to talk about?
I know. So, but I looked at that as an opportunity for us to bury the hatchet, have a chat. And you know what? He came and picked me up in the golf cart, I think Saturday, and he took me for a tour. We had a good chat, and we talked about a lot of things. And, I can see that he's very proud and passionate about his what he has going on. And he should be, because he has the best indoor races in America, and I've literally told him that. So I feel that we have, gotten past that. And it was good to do that, because honestly, I'm not trying to be, I think, Joseph always says this, we must work together, correct? We need to work together. Well, we need to work together, not only when it's just stuff that we want to work together with you on. So, everybody has, I think you have to come on and understand that these people do, when you understand why people do things, or the logistics of things and how things go, and you see people like, I understand that Dave and those guys, they put on these races, they have to make money. I don't think they make a lot of money like everybody thinks they do, because they definitely spend out a lot of money as well
to make it.
But I think they do it. They're proud of what they did. I think that also Dave has been one of the promoters that has also, when we were critical on the podcast, he made changes. Like he got trophies. He has tried the AMS format that is that is capped and has struggled. And I understand, like, if he wants to go back to the regular format, because it seems like people don't want the capped stuff either. So I kind of turned over a new leaf in the new year, like last year, sorry. And I'm just like, look, as long as people have fun, as long as I see good racing, and I hope they have good coverage, that's all I care about. Yes.
If you look back 2 years and think about all the things you've talked about RaceTime Entertainment, all the positive and negative, if you think of all the critical things you've said from, let's say, as long as you've been doing your podcast, since episode 10, let's just start there. Dave has implemented a lot of things that you have been critical of. You know, he's done the trophies. He's added more presentation to it. He's brought in live coverage. Everything that has been critiqued, well, not everything, but a lot of the major things, a lot of things that we've been looking for as RC fans and people who don't make it to the event but would like to watch or participate. And somehow Dave has really stepped up, and he seems to step up every single year to do something new and different, or to bring in some new technology. The guy's always looking for something new and fresh, but I've listened to every podcast you've ever had, so I remember. I'm not quick to forget. I remember a lot of things. So I remember you guys, talking about having more live coverage, treating the things like bigger events, and a lot of the things that you've critiqued him on, he has followed through with.
Yes, I would agree there, and that's good to see. And I think he with this year he he went good, like big on the live on the coverage. He had Jake up there who does his thing. Then he had Danny there who was doing his thing, which he was taking pictures, he's doing video and stuff like that. Then we had live RC with 2 cameramen plus the 2 producers and myself and Scotty. So this was a big production,
It's huge. I mean, who else could you get there?
Live RC had the camper there, like the trailer and the semi
fancy trailer they just built up.
Yeah, recently, that was cool to see. That was cool to see. So he went all out on that, and kudos to him. I thought it was. I mean, that's how I ended up there. So basically, I hopped on a flight early. My wife took me to the airport early Thursday morning. Hopped on a flight. It was too expensive to fly into Knoxville. It was really expensive. And it was just hard flights. So I decided to fly into Charlotte to, it's kind of like, I always like to fly into like hubs like that, Miami, Charlotte, stuff like that. And then Mike Hill was like, I was like, hey, I left Mike a text at like 9:30, 9:45 at night, and he's usually asleep at that time. So when I called him in the morning, he's like, I know exactly what you want. You want me to take some time off to come pick you up at the airport and take you to PNB because some reason you're going to be going to PNB. You didn't know about this, and I already knew what you was texting me about. I said, but I never even told you that. It's like, I just know. And he was right. So he kind of, agreed to come take some time off from work, which was cool. It was like, part of this was like, I'm going to hang out with my buddy. We're going to drive up to PNB. But, I kind of was flying to New York, missed my connection, which was crazy because there was hundreds of people that missed their connections from various different flights in this day. And like Delta was just giving out pure hotels, vouchers. And like the hotel I went to had just pure people that had missed their connections. But they got me on a flight the next day and I got to Charlotte. And then Mike kind of just picked me up in a sporty little Honda Civic, which I call the Dragon. And we drove up to White Pines and we got there about 4 PM, stopped to get some lunch and, stuff like that. Enjoy the drive up, it's beautiful going up through those mountains. So that was fun. Got there and it was just like, I think I really needed this because I needed some race therapy, some nitro therapy, being around RC people therapy, because after DNC, I'm not going to lie. DNC was fine. I enjoyed it. I had a good time, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I have in previous years because of the weather. That's nothing to do with Joey. Or whatever happened. That was just because of the weather, right? Can't do nothing about that. But I was really sick after DNC, and I was sick for about 3 weeks after DNC. And
a lot of people were.
Yeah, and it took me a while to recover. And by the time, it was rough. Like, I still recorded, but it was rough. Like, I wasn't sleeping well. My asthma was really bad. My wife is actually a little bit sick now. So she has like a mild case of pneumonia, but she's fine. Like, she's not going to die from it. I don't think. But she's like active and stuff. So she probably had what I had. But just being in that cold and all that stuff just messed with me, not having the proper clothing and all that stuff. And it just kind of messed with me. So I was sick and I needed something. I was like, oh man, I was kind of beat up, And then when I got that call, I was like, ooh, like I got a jolt of adrenaline. And I was like, let's go. So it was fun. I got there and I needed that. Like, I needed to be around my extended RC family. And when I got there on that day, like I saw you and you saw Brent, and you know how it goes. Like, you just start walking around. You end up talking to somebody for 10, 15 minutes each time. People come up just like, hey, left here, giving me beer. I was like, all right. So, gotta sit off and drink with them. So that afternoon was great. I just walked around, kind of got to know everybody, talked to the live RC guys, talked to Scotty, and we talked about some plans for what we was gonna do. And then we kind of went home, got a good meal, and got ready because I knew it was going to be a couple of long days, and not no real chilling out because you got to talk. But man, I was super happy to be there, and it was really good to see just old friends that I saw I saw people last year, but it was good to see them again, like you and all the people from the Southeast, because there's a lot of people from the Southeast, but there was also quite a lot of new people at this event.
Yes. I ran into 2 or 3 like 2-month-old racers, like fresh off the boat. I just got into 8-scale racing, and I looked up Psycho Nitro, and here we are.
Really?
Like, are you serious? Oh, absolutely. I had 3 different guys that came to the trailer that were damn near 3 months or less new drivers. Wow. I'm like, this is where you choose to get your feet wet? Yeah.
Dude, but it's crazy.
Right, cool. Here, you need to buy this.
Oh man, it was definitely a buzz. I walked onto the horse stalls. You see how people had cleaned them out, and like people had made the pit stations there. The Bermuda guys were there. It was good to see them. I went and it's really good to go in there and talk in my full native slang and funny, and not saying that you wouldn't, but it's just, we have different pronunciations and stuff like that, and different humor. And, I kind of shoot the shit with those guys for a little bit. One guy in particular, Quincy Aberdeen, who didn't bring me any Bermuda rum. Thank you, Quincy. But it was good to see them. And then, it was like, let's get going. It was practice. And I'll get ready for the next day. But I will say this. Let's talk about the track, because we do have some notes.
Let's talk about that track.
So what did you think of the track when you first got there? Because you got there before me, and you saw a lot more of it than I did, because you probably saw it from the inception.
It looked really good. 100% different from last year. Last year was a ginormous 10th scale track, 1/10 scale. I think they only had like maybe one double.
Probably.
Yeah, or one big jump anyways. This year they had a nice flow rhythm. Well, let's just call it flow. The big old jump, that thing was ridiculous. They was shooting cars 30 foot in the air. I went out there and measured. It had to be anywhere from 25 to 30 foot on a regular basis just to make that jump. You had to be launching your car in the air 30 foot high. And then even when you downside, even if you hit it perfect, it was destroying cars, because when we check our ride height, right, we drop that car from about 6 inches onto the table, check the ride height, check the shocks. Imagine dropping your car from a 3-story building to check the ride height. I don't care if you landed on a downslope or not, you're still dropping 30 foot from the air. It was ridiculous. I normally see broken pistons, shock pistons.
I saw a lot.
Once or twice a year. Just some random occurrence, a flaw in the piston or something just really weird happened. I saw at least 6 broken pistons in one day
from different brands.
Different brands, everything.
I saw that too.
Those shocks were compressing so fast, the blow by and everything, that just couldn't handle. Something had to give, so the plastic piston just got destroyed in a lot of people's shocks.
But the triple was like enormous. It wasn't like a small triple. This was on any other track. That triple that they had on the front was like a big triple.
Yeah,
but compared to that leap of faith, compared to the leap of faith, it was nothing. Like it literally. So when we're watching these cars go up. So just so people know, at this race, I was not watching the track. I was in a booth watching the screen, right? So you just see the cars go up, you see them go boom, and then the funny thing is, some of them that look like they're going to clear it, they don't. Some that don't look like they're going to clear it, do it. And then some you think they're fine, right? They jump it, and you just see them disappear, and you're like, okay, I'm expecting this guy to come around the corner because you don't see the backside of it. And I'm like, did he wreck? Did he break? Did he what? I thought that was back to PMB roots.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not too crazy. It wasn't too crazy.
Nope. Got the big wood ramp back. So, PMB is known for the wood ramp. Got at least one of them in there, and it definitely it sent you.
Yep.
And that triple in front of the driver's stand, it was you had to send that thing. It's not like you're sending it a long distance, but you had to put your car really high and then hit on the brakes and then come down on power, just really to make the thing properly and set your corner up for the next move. Yeah, it really tests you. I really liked the concrete section.
Me too,
because they always kind of do it in a corner, and that's fine, whatever, concrete wherever. But this time it was in a straightaway. It's just really cool how they like dipped down from the dirt into the concrete, went straight, and then had to get on the brakes really hard to dip back up into the dirt. It is kind of pretty strategic how people had to approach it. I saw tons of different lines in that one straight section.
Yeah, so I'm glad you bring that up. So that section, you wouldn't think that a straight line like that would have so many different lines, right?
Yeah,
but it did. So you had people that went down the middle, and the thing is, you had to slam brakes because it was like so on video it doesn't look that high, but when I went on and walked in, it's like the down ramp is about 2 feet.
Yeah,
and it's about 1.5 feet below the natural surface, and then going up to that. The bottom, it's not like a smooth transition. It's like boom. So it was donkey flipping. If you hit brakes, you would flip. So what you saw was either guys go right down the middle, slam brakes, do it the safe way. But then you saw, I think Rivkin was the first person I saw doing this. He was going on. He was like 50-50 grinding that thing the entire way on
the dirt.
Right. So yeah, like half his
so
car
you could brake a little bit.
Yes.
Yep, totally. I saw that more towards the end. People were riding as close as they could to the pipe, so their tires could be in the dirt, so they could set up the 180 turn a little bit better. But using the concrete section, your car was sliding at the end of that before you hit the dirt. So yeah, there's a lot of ways you could approach it. I saw 10 different lines in that one straight section.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it. And I think Rivkin was the first person I saw do the whole thing, like straight on. Then I saw an iteration where like Full and the guys started going they will go at an angle and just go on the last quarter of it and slow them down and just hook their cars around that 180 because it was a serious 180. And so, and also I have to say, look, I am not the biggest fan of joker lanes because it's hard to follow on a race, right? But I have to say that I think with this joker lane not being as long, maybe in other years, I think it was 3 to 4 seconds of safety if you did it perfectly. It allowed the racing to still be a little bit closer because you did it, but you can make up 3 to 4 seconds on the track at some point. But I think the hardest part of this track for everybody was that back section. That
the off camber double, off camber to the double.
Yes.
Yeah, the double, everyone was overshooting it and big time chassis slapping, even though it wasn't that big of a jump. But you heard these cars. That was my section where I sat, and these cars would just slap the crap out of it when they're landing that thing, man. You hardly ever heard people actually downside and not hear their chassis just smack the crap out of it.
Yeah, it was difficult.
Yeah. What are we looking at here?
Oh, this is start of the A main. I just have it up. We'll talk while we so people that are at home can see this.
I won. Yeah, I won this one.
Yeah. People at home were watching the A main. This is the start of it. If you're listening to this on audio only, you can go to Live RC and check it if you're a bonus lap member. But yeah, that's where Rivkin just got completely screwed. Like
that was a mess. Probably the worst start of the whole entire weekend.
That section right there was very difficult for people in the beginning, and it's so far away, right?
Yep.
So
and then they had an off camber going before you hit that double. There was this off camber, and people were like taking it kind of like a dog leg, right? Kind of. But when you saw the pros, they were taking it straight on, using the off camber curve as a jumping into that double.
Oh yeah,
it was pretty cool. And then eventually,
it took them a while to figure that out.
Right, I saw Dakota do it first, and then everyone kind of caught on to it.
Did you see Dakota put a yellow wing on?
Yes.
I am
for
telling
visual, for sight.
It was so far away,
and he had the stickers on the side. He doesn't always have the stickers on the side of his wing either.
Nope. But I was shocked when he did that.
It's hard to see in there, man. It's hard to see. It's a big track. I'm not sure if they actually upgraded the lighting this year. it kind of seems like they might have, but still there's just not enough lighting in there.
That triple's huge. Jesus,
that triple's crazy. It's not even like it's that long. It's just you gotta shoot your car to the top to get over. That's probably not but a 25-foot triple.
Yes. All right. So this is for viewers. This is the track. This is the Pro Nitro. This is the track after all the laps too. I have to say that the track held up incredibly.
It did. Best it's ever held up. I've never seen a Psycho track not blow out.
It
that
was
track
incredible.
Hardly blew out anywhere. Like, I didn't see it really blow out anywhere.
No, it had a few ruts and rivets, but nothing too serious.
No, not at all.
Nothing at all. This little section was very difficult. Brandon Rose was one of those drivers. He was one of those drivers who was able to get through there pretty fast.
Mm-hmm. That was a cool section.
Yeah. All right. So we agreed that we liked the track. We thought it was cool. It made for some great racing. Even the bump up races were great. You know, people were coming from 18th and I think my boy Javon, he bumped like twice from 18th. Javon Mallory, in Truggy.
I like that kid.
Yeah, with his girlfriend fueling him with a fuel bottle.
There goes impressive. 4 seconds right there.
She was fast. She was fast, dude. She was super
all you
fast.
People with fuel bottles, get rid of them during main.
I will say this though: the leap of faith did provide some entertainment. We saw an epic lipo fire after this, and
if it wasn't for the leap of faith, we would have left that race losing money.
Did you think people really broke that much on it? Because it didn't seem like it during the races.
Yeah, people broke a lot on that track. Not during the race. It was more during practice and probably midway through qualifying.
Okay. All right. So we might as well talk about that too. What did you think of that? So obviously, last year they had a bunch of entries, like 1,000 and
over 1,000 entries.
Right. And then they had to cut that from from 3 qualifiers to 2, which caused a big kerfuffle with people, which I understand. But I mean, I also understand that you can only do so much within a day. And this year they announced that there will only be 2 qualifiers, which for me says, all right, you put that option into people's, you put the option for people to come. Basically, if you're going to have 2 qualifiers, you're going to have 2 qualifiers. Obviously, I think it cut down the entries. I think it was 769 entries. But I think that entry count to 800 is very comfortable for this race.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of things to touch on there. So the entry-wise, it was like probably around 250 less than last year. Last year was an anomaly. It was the first year that most of the country was out of COVID. We weren't all scared and acting crazy. So people really wanted to get out. But they never hit 1,000. They never came close to that in all their time to running this event. They hit it last year, but I think this is more of a normal Psycho turnout.
Okay.
You know, Psycho usually is right around the 750. That's a very successful event. Once you hit that 1,000 point, you never want to look back. And, you know, Dave probably was hoping to get, closer to that 1,000 point. I was kind of expecting it, but, in reality, we were probably over expecting everything because last year was just kind of a little different, So, unfortunately for Dave, that's probably a $25,000 difference.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between 1,000 and 750. And if you're planning as a businessman to hit that 1,000 point and investing, let's say $10,000 in new electronics or whatever new feature he's going to add to the track, it probably is a nice kick in the balls when you don't get it. That's a hard thing to swallow.
Yeah, but he looked comfortable. I think.
Sure. It's not like he failed. It's just. Yeah,
I think the general consensus that I got was that this is the entry count that they're happy with, 800-ish.
Yeah, it's normal. But also advertising at 2 qualifiers, they probably advertised that there's going to be 2 qualifiers, expecting that closer to 1,000 turnout, which may or may not have turned off a few people. I don't think it turned off 250 people. I just think, maybe he lost 20, 30 entries because of the 2 qualifier thing. But like from all the cycles I've been to, this was probably the most, in my experience, the most laid back Psycho.
It did have that feeling.
I did not feel like I was overstressed. I didn't feel like I wasn't rested enough. They even like after Saturday qualifying, they shut down for 4 or 5 hours. Just everyone, let's just take or shoot. We were done by 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
No, we was done by
Saturday.
12.
All right.
Yeah.
So they shut down for 6 hours, and normally we're going nonstop. You're only shutting down to do, print the mains basically. So yeah, it was kind of what Psycho normally is, with actually a more laid back atmosphere. In my opinion.
I felt that too. Like, how a lot of people are just zombies by Sunday. I didn't, there were zombies, but I think like people, I know people say, well, we could have done a third qualifier. Yeah, but I think then people would have complained about us getting out of there at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Everyone I talked to, they're like, I'm fine with only doing 2 qualifiers. I don't want to. Everyone I asked, they're like, I don't want to qualify at 3:30 in the freaking morning.
True. I understand that.
They're like, we're cool with that. I mean, what's one more qualifier going to do? For 98% of the people, nothing. You pretty much know where you're at by 2 qualifiers.
People did bump. That was good. That's a good thing of having 18 people. You can bump. All right. So, and then they did practice a little different. They had they had the seating practice.
Yes.
At 11.
Very early.
So that kind of basically is your cutoff right there. Like, boom. I mean, I'm sure you can come enter after that.
Yep.
But I mean, basically that was their cutoff right there. We see Bandon Rose taking the Joker. He was just racing with Mason Fuller. So I think people that came, they enjoyed themselves. I think the people that didn't want to come, didn't come. And I think that's just kind of how it is. If you want to go, you go. If you don't want to go, you don't go.
And Psycho's kind of like an event where not every RC enthusiast is going to make it their bucket list race each and every year. Once you've experienced Psycho a couple times, you either love it or you're just like, all right, I'll go to some other RaceTime event, because Psycho's it's kind of crazy. There's nothing normal about this race. It's nothing that we do on a regular basis. Us RC racers who race 2-3 times a month, there's nothing normal about this race. But so for some people, once they've been here once or twice, 3 times, or, every 2 or 3 years, some people just aren't going to come every year. It's just not that kind of race.
I would agree with you, man. And like I said, it was comfortable. I think people enjoyed it. I think we'll see this. A lot of people that came this year come back next year. And it was a lot of people from all over America. And obviously we had the Bermuda guys come. We had a contingent of Canadians that came. And it was pretty good. Like, I think that's the impression that I got. I really, speaking of technology, I like the banner across the driver stand with the TV stands, which was really cool.
Got a little critique for that, though.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I think it needs to kind of next year. I know they can do this. They should probably figure out how it all works this year. But next year, like show some sort of ticker, like what place people are in. Because there's really, unless we had our phones in our hand as spectators, almost everyone had their phones in their hand on live RC, looking at where people are and stuff like that. So just maybe having a ticker top 5 or whatever. That's a good idea. Just kind of scrolling through. It just make it a little more useful, because most of the entire weekend, it just basically advertised Psycho. It advertised Friday practice, Saturday qualifying, Sunday mains. It didn't have a whole lot going on it, even though it did look cool. And
but that's a value that could be used to bring value to it more than just advertising.
Yeah, and at Psycho or at RaceTime events, there are spectators. Whether we're part of the RC community or not, there are always people in the stands watching the race. So ways for us to be able to watch a race a little better. When I'm looking at my phone, I'm not looking at the race. I really want to look at the race and just kind of glance over real quick, see, what places are, and then go back to actually what, the physical race. But sometimes I find myself staring at the phone and not watching what's going on in the dirt.
Oh, wow. Just looking at Phend getting it wrong over that tabletop. Cool. Yeah. That was all right. We'll go. All right. So let's all right. So we geeked out on that. Let's talk about something right here that you and I started talking about prior to this was competition.
Great.
I think we're seeing the changing of the guard somewhat, not just on a pro level, because it's still a little bit ways to go, but I mean, let's stop this. Let's go through, let's stop that for a minute. Let's go through some of these podiums here and look at them. Because a lot of these people, I don't know, like it's been a while and a lot of them, I'm not sure who they are. You know what I mean? So, not saying I know who they are, but just new faces. Like I used to know the this scene very well, when I used to go to these races and come to the South. Obviously, I have not been traveling there as much in recent years, but this is my first big race in the South for a very long time. So big race, and my first Psycho since 2019, because I've been to 2. Do I want to share that? Am I sharing I'm sharing the wrong thing? So some of these podiums, I don't know who these people are, but it seems like we have a lot more younger drivers podiuming and people that used to make these A mains and intermediate, because intermediate at this race is extremely stacked. It's very stacked. So to see some new faces there is very good. See some younger faces too. So here we have intermediate Nitro Truggy. This kid, man, let me bring up his name here. I remember his name because I interviewed him. He actually went home with 2 of those trophies. He's like, yeah, we got to make some. When he first got it, he's like, yeah, we got to make some room in the car for this one. Then he won another one. I was like, wow, I don't know what you're going to do about it. You got to make room for this one too.
Well, we were actually having a conversation at the race, me and Brent, and I think somebody else might have been involved. I can't remember, but we were talking about, so typically at bigger races, your regional or local pro drops down to intermediate. Your intermediate driver drops down to sports. Everyone tends to just drop down a class, except for your paid professional pros. Not everyone, but a lot of people. This something we paid attention to on this particular race was. Well, okay. Well, first off, my point is a lot of times there's some people at the top of the intermediate class that need to be at the bottom of the pro class because it's just what they've kind of graduated to. Right. This race in particular seemed like the intermediate class, everyone in the intermediate class belonged there, Yes. Yes. I didn't see anyone in intermediate in Nitro Buggy, Truggy, Electric that didn't really belong there. So it was really cool, and you could tell because that competition in the A mains of intermediate was fantastic. Your regular names just weren't there in winning. It was like a bunch of other people.
Like this kid Mason Herrick. That's who this is, right?
Herrick. Never heard of him in my life, but
he's got 2 big PME trophies.
Spanked him. Put the spank down.
The only person that I really know, I know Coty. I don't know Coty Ingham, but I know who he is. And then, of course, David Carmendi. I know these are 2 South races, but
David Carmendi. Oh man, I got this real interesting thing. Should I save it till the end, or
no? We can save it to the end. Let's save it to the end.
Perfect.
But I'm looking at this. We have Don Elliott, Chris Morant, who was probably the fastest guy here, but he had some bad luck.
Morant, I think. Well, he was the WRC guy, right?
Yes. Hey. Speaking of WRC, impressive to see that brand starting to grow.
It's a nice little group of them out there,
Yeah, the owner of Sended RC, who is the distributor. Nice guy. We've had many conversations. It was good to finally meet him.
What's his name?
Matt Kennedy.
Matt Kennedy.
Yes, and just seeing that reminds me of old JQ racing days.
They're totally JQ. WRC is a new JQ without the fucking JQ.
Yeah, boots to the boots to the ground, like just out there grinding it out. With Morant as the team manager, and they got Dylan Caldwell as well as the manager. And when I see that, and I saw that little camp there, I was like,
"It's a JQ team, bro."
No, I'm like, I know this grind, and keep it up, like
totally, 100%. No
so
doubt.
that was good to see. But yeah, we are seeing these like a changing of the guard in sportsmen. We're starting to see it's good. I want to see more younger people like Mason Herrick doing well at these races and winning these type of races and being on the podium and whatnot. So let's go through some of these podiums we have. Of course, there's Pro Nitro Buggy. Look, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. All right, here we go. Sportsman Nitro Buggy. Let's look at this. Younger.
Who are these people?
So this is
that's Mark Samaria's kid right there, right? Is that correct? Number
yes, that
3?
is. That's him. That's him.
Is that Evan?
That is Evan.
Right.
I bet you Mark is super pumped about that because this young man bumped from like 8th, 14th. A bump for the B main started like, no, hold on. Am I right? He started like 14th. Oh, he bumped or something, but he drove very well to get up to 3rd and was in 2nd at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that he loves Nitro because Mark is all about e-buggy.
Yeah,
and
he's an electric guy.
And Evan likes Nitro. And then when he was doing the interviews, you can see Mark was super. Now, Mark hit 100K this past weekend on
he
YouTube.
Sure did.
But I bet you he was more pumped. He was as pumped about that, but I bet you he was more pumped about this too. He's seeing his son do well, and his son's turning into a legit little racer. Like, you know what I mean? But he's not literally, he's taller than me, but you know what I mean? A legit young racer with all these other, and that's Scotty's mate, LW4, who's from up trackside, who won that. Scotty was all excited. He dumped water on him and everything after the race. So it's good to see these young guys. And then, of course, we have this old fart right here. No, but that's my good friend, Abba, who didn't bring me no
number
wrong.
5?
Yeah, that's my Bermuda mate.
I met that guy. He's really cool.
Yeah, we used to, that's like we used to race. We raced each other for years. We've been away a few times together, and we just talk a lot of crap to each other. So let's see who else. This was 40 plus e-buggy, which was check DJ Hapler. I got to meet Ken Rand. I've always see his name on there.
Look at all these young up and coming bucks. These
look
plus
at
40 guys, dude. They got a lot of potential.
Look at this. I mean, we have Caden Fuller, who had a good weekend. Saffron Dalen had a good weekend. We're going to get more into that. Cole Tollard, I didn't even know he finished 5th. Another Mason Herrick, intermediate e-buggy. There's Zach Carr, Justin, I believe his name is, Chris Morant, Patrick Russell. I don't know what he's doing right here.
Roster, he's having a good time. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, he's in the zone.
Hey, he's got a trophy girl.
Speaking of Patrick Rossiter, he won truck. I know a lot of people were talking about this on the internet. Because they were like, he's professional. He should be in pro. And
He's not a professional.
I don't see Patrick Rossiter as a professional.
Is not a professional. He'll never be a professional. But he is a fantastic driver, and he kicks butt in truggy. That's kind of his specialty. Actually, truggy is probably his specialty, but Patrick Roster is a legitimate intermediate driver. He's not a professional. He's not going to get paid to drive these cars. He does not belong in the pro class. If he wants to run it, that's his prerogative. But he's the epitome of what an intermediate guy is.
I agree with you. And he's running Nitro. He hasn't run Nitro for quite some time.
And then there's Javon, number 3.
There's Javon.
Cool.
And
who are these other people?
Let me bring up this intermediate Nitro buggy. I should have this up here in it. That's fine. Intermediate Nitro buggy. So we have Patrick Ross, Cody Ingram, Javon Mallory, Braden Billington, Chris Morant. So that must be Braden Billington. Never heard of him to this race.
No. Who's that guy?
Yeah. New guy racing. Good to see. Love it.
Love it. It's
Let's
awesome.
go here. Sportsman e-buggy. Look at this. This is I know that this is not people are gonna like this, but
look at the diversity going on here.
we got mid like young 20s, older, 10.
Tall, you got small, big. And
I would rather see sportsmen be all of guys like this, to be honest.
This is great. That's a total sportsman class. Look at him.
Yeah, that you know what? That looks like a sportsman podium on any given day at any race.
Sportsman
in
podium right there.
And pro Nitro Truggy Ooh, yeah.
All right. Let's touch on this winner guy here.
Oh, so now everybody's seeing the light about the Fullers, hey?
Mason Fuller. The Fullers, I mean, been just grinding for how long? Who even knows? Probably since, like, I bet they've been grinding for 10 years at least.
Well, Mason said he's 17, maybe 18 now, but I would say in the last 4 years, they have been putting in a lot of work. Last 3.
Those Fullers have been putting in work way before they were ever known. They've been going hardcore for as long as I can remember being in this hobby. I've been in this hobby for, I don't know, almost 10 years, I think.
This was a very exciting race. So people might not see this, but Scotty and I were calling this race. And at one point, we was both up on our feet and arms were going. Like, that's how exciting this race was for us up there. Like, we're up on our feet and he's doing this and his arms are good and my arms are good. And, you know, we're up there like you would think we was out there, like where people could see us.
It was my favorite race of the weekend.
I think it was one of the best. I think it was the best race of the weekend. It was
Mason Fuller. This guy's been just chomping at the bit for a long time, man. I mean, you've been talking about him for at least 2 years. You know, when are these young guys going to take over this old guard? This old guard has just been dominating. When are these young guys going to step up? I think I almost expected Mason Fuller to do the sweep of both.
I thought it was going to happen
and Buggy.
I thought it was going to happen,
but Dakota was just on fire with Buggy. You weren't touching him with that thing. But Mason Fuller, just straight stud mode, and he's just getting better.
And his brother's getting better too.
Yeah.
They had a great race in E-Truggy.
I mean, his brother was just racing like intermediate like last year, I think.
Yeah. Well, he was focused on football. Yeah. I mean, we talk about old guard, right? But I mean, everybody here is under 30. So it's just that Dakota Fend's been around a long time. Joe is probably the oldest, I would say. But great weekend for Seth. Been a long time since I've seen Seth smiling, comfortable. He was smiling at DNC when he was going to run the E-Truggy, but I talked to him and he seemed very, very calm and collective and happy. And it's been a while since I've seen him like that. And he had a great weekend. Maybe not the result he wanted in Nitro Buggy, I think.
Probably not.
But he was fast all weekend in all his classes, and he was super happy. Joe Bornhorst, always good in Truggy. Maybe not the fastest in Buggy this weekend, but he's also just coming off being sick and, you know, probably taking a little break after not running no RC for a while. But mind you, he was doing a lot of RC. But what really, this young man here at the end, smiling, always good to see, because he had one of the best weekends he's had in quite a long time, or probably ever, I would say. Brandon Rose. But yeah, man, the Iceman won this, and when he won this, and the way he drove this, I was like, I think he could do it. I think he can do it, because he won E-Truggy, he won this, and he was fast. And I was just like, huh. But to be honest, he wasn't as fast as Brandon Rose and Rivkin in qualifying, because we went in Pro Nitro Buggy, I haven't seen this for a while, where we went Dakota Phend, Rivkin, Rose for one round, Dakota Phend, Rivkin, Rose for the next round in Pro Nitro Buggy. And those two were fast. Rivkin was very fast this weekend. Very fast. Don't let his result fool you. He was very fast.
He definitely had his moments. Like, he definitely looked like he was fighting for it for a minute.
We don't want to see that.
Mostly in qualifying. Like, he had his moments in qualifying, and then kind of just like, I don't know, just kind of disappeared in the mains, didn't he?
Well, he got shuffled right back.
Yeah,
in the A-main in Nitro Buggy. This guy had a good weekend too, to be honest. He won 40 plus.
That guy with the camera?
Yeah, he had a great
weekend. Or that guy with the beard?
No, the guy right here, Adam Drake. He actually did well in the A-main too. He did well in the A-main. And
he dominated plus 40, didn't he?
I mean, that's to be expected. But I mean,
domination.
He did well in the A-main too. Like he had a solid weekend. I think Drake had a solid weekend at PMB. And it was I think he was solid. I mean, obviously there was, let's be honest, there's really nobody in 40 plus at this moment that can challenge Drake.
Except me.
All right. I mean,
but that's why I'm not racing. There's no
all right. So you're giving him a break.
Yeah,
They're giving them a break. All right, gotcha.
Letting everyone catch up.
Gotcha.
I'll be back.
Got you.
All
right. So you agree Truggy Man was great. I enjoyed that. We thought it was the best race of the thinking it's the best race of the weekend, you would say?
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right. Sportsman Nitro Truggy. Josh Fine.
Yeah. He's a regional guy. I like Josh. I've seen Josh since like he came into the hobby probably about 2-3 years ago. Him and his son's been really improving a lot. And Josh been grinding it out. He goes to just tons of local regional races, just goes and goes and goes. He wasn't even making regional or local A mains for a while. Now he's putting himself on top of the sportsman class. It's pretty sweet. It's cool to watch these guys progress, even though they're full grown men, some middle-aged guy gets into the hobby and works his way up. It's pretty cool.
What
sport
everybody.
Can you do that in,
No other sport. This is Bermudian guy, Jonathan Davis. He finished 5th. So I'm, very happy to see my Bermudian guys doing well. 40 plus Nitro Buggy. There we go. There's Drake. There's Ever. What's this gentleman name? I can't remember his name.
I don't know who that is.
Dirty Don Elliott. This guy is the most hardcore racer out there.
Yeah. Don Elliott. Also a nice Southeast racer.
This guy races every weekend. If there's somewhere,
he used to be really fast when he was younger. He was one of those kids who probably, or one of those guys that probably could have like gone pro, but most people don't want to pursue that. And then he just came back, as a older guy, and he's a stud. I mean, when he's on his A game, no one's beating that guy around here.
Yeah, he's good. He is. He is. If it's a race going on, he'll be there.
Yeah.
Truggy race was excellent. Oh my gosh! Between these two, between Caden and then Joe, these three put on a show in Truggy. It was good to see. I know Toddy from up in RC Excitement up there in Massachusetts. He was super pumped. They were making him do push-ups. Like his boys were like, "Come on, Toddy, do some push-ups. Pump up that chest. Let's go." Shout out to all the RC Excitement guys. I met him at Masters of Dirt.
Why of all? I really like Truggy because there is only one class of it. There's no sport.
I think that's going to change.
No intermediate. Well, what I think should change is I think we should just do that with all the freaking classes.
That's never going to
happen. Qualifiers separate them out. Give a trophy to every freaking qualifier, all the way down to the Q main.
But they used to do that.
I think that some of the best times I've had in RC racing is when there's one class, one Nitro Buggy class, one Truggy class, one electric class. It really brings out the best in racers, in my opinion, especially at the lower levels.
I agree, but I just don't. This gentleman's name, Lewis Chamberlain, by the way. You know what? I just don't see that. I agree with you fundamentally, but I don't see it happening. It's just it's just not going to happen.
Why with the Truggy? Still Truggy. What's the biggest class there? Truggy.
It was
because they don't separate it. How cool would it be to just have a Nitro Buggy class? Just go sort yourselves out. And you qualify where you qualify. How cool is Nationals? Nationals is awesome. Mm-hmm. There's two classes: Nitro Buggy, Nitro Truggy, and people they go there knowing, hey, we're gonna end up where we end up.
I agree with you. That's why I like the Nationals.
Yeah,
I really do.
Really cool. Me personally, if I was they're like, hey, I want you to throw an event, no holds barred, do whatever you want to do. That's exactly what I would do. I would do one class for everything. There would be one e-buggy class, one Truggy class, and one Nitro Buggy, one Nitro Truggy.
Well, you can still split it up too.
That's the thing. What I would do after qualifying, I'd throw a wrench in the system and be like, all right, you guys have separated yourselves out by qualifying. These 35 people are in sportsman. These 35 people are in intermediate. And these people are obviously pro. You know who's in the pro class, right? Mm-hmm. And then there you go. You're going to battle it out. But you don't tell them until after. And since it's my race and I can do whatever the hell I want, That's exactly what I'd do.
You said don't do it till they tell them that's after.
Right.
But I agree with you, but it's just, I don't see that happening.
No.
Let's geek out on the pro class for a little bit, and then we'll talk about some other things. All right. So hey, once again, like Dakota Phend, man, he is right now probably the best RC off-road car driver in the world.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it all together, sure.
He is very
scale,
yep.
electric carpet, dirt, whatever. All you put it all in one shot. Yeah, it's hard to compete with Dakota.
Well, it's getting to the point where it's hard to compete against him at these races.
Oh yeah, any given day, if everything's going in his way, you're not touching him.
Well, it's coming on to it's just been Mayfield and him. Mayfield was sick this weekend, by the way, so
he burned himself up.
Oh, that's what happened.
He went and lighted a bunch of nitro fuel on fire inside of the can, and I guess he got burned up. Hey, fuck around, find out.
Really? That's what happened to him? I thought it was sick.
I don't know. I'm just hearing. No, I heard he got burned up because he was fucking around and he found out.
I heard that too, but not at this race.
Not at this race. This was before he got here. He just came here. He came to Psycho. Burn up.
Oh,
at least,
okay, so,
at least a little bit. I don't think he was like any. He did have to go to the hospital,
right? But anything to do with your hands in this hobby in this industry?
I think it got his face, is what I heard.
Really?
It definitely put like a little burn on his body. Ouch! Yeah. Hey, go light nitro bottles on fire and see what happens.
Because that stuff burns invisibly too.
Yeah, nitro is not good. You don't want to get that on you.
Wow, I'm glad it's okay. I didn't realize it was that, but that would be why we didn't.
That's
see
why
him.
I heard. I'm just some guy. I'm a fly in the corner on the wall, just paying attention to everyone else talk. So
yeah.
I didn't hear that from him. I actually didn't even see him the whole entire weekend.
Neither did I. I just saw him at the driver's stand, and that was it. He so something was wrong with him, and if that was it, then
I'm just joking. Really, he just didn't want Marshall all weekend, so he made it up.
No, he didn't look normal.
I'm serious.
The funny thing is, somebody asked me that prior to coming to this race.
What if he got burned up?
Yeah,
it was mild, but it was enough to not make him normal.
Well, you got to think.
He obviously was not normal. Hands. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what he got. I heard he got his face though.
That would be. Oh wow! Oof. Don't light shit on fire. I guess that's.
Yeah. Hey, look.
That story.
Fuck around and find out.
Oh my gosh. Oh well. Well, that would be. He did not have a good weekend. I mean, he did finish fourth.
I don't know.
But
I'm not sure.
I guess for him that's not a good weekend.
No,
he finished fourth. So he finished fourth.
Yeah, I mean, that's just pretty standard. It's either fourth or winning. He's looking good in his techno car. If he wasn't all burned up, I bet he probably would have finished at least second.
Well, I'm pretty sure that had some effect on it. I think we're seeing these older guys struggle with these big tracks and vision.
You ain't got to tell me about that. Golly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what we're seeing. And this track is the biggest one. It's the farthest one away. You saw them be a lot faster at DNC and that small track, right?
Let me ask you this. Did DNC really count for
it has
anything?
To.
For
it
what?
Does. It was still a hard race.
Honestly, nothing against Joey or whatever. It's just the weather. It's the way it goes. And actually, I'll credit Joey. He made the race happen. So all these people coming from all over the world, at least they got the race. But at the same time, me personally, it didn't really count. I mean, it's just like
who you think it has an asterisk?
Who won that race, anyways? Was it Mayfield?
Yeah,
yeah. It's just like I couldn't watch it. It was unbearable to me. I could not watch. Yeah, I didn't like it.
I had a lot of people that liked it.
I heard a lot of people loved it. I thought a lot of people were like, "Yeah, you had to take different lines."
I thought the racing was good. Being there watching it.
Couldn't watch it. I tried. It was hard.
But I thought the racing was good at this race, and I thought that the A-Man
for the
was
most
good.
part. I didn't like the Joker lane. I wish they'd get rid of it
because it's hard to follow.
Yeah, it's just hard to follow. You got 45-minute main, Nitro Buggy main, you get 4 jokers. Some people didn't use their jokers until the last like 10 minutes, you know, and still it didn't do anything for them, but you didn't know where the heck these people were really. The only thing you could do is pay attention to the top like 3 guys and then, you know, start doing math. All right, well, if you add 6 seconds or take away 6 seconds, so he's got 2 jokers, this guy's got 1 joker, and you really can't tell by looking at your phone how many jokers. You got to be listening to the guy.
No, they need to get an option for that. They need to get an option for that. See, right. I can see that how many they have.
You can,
right?
I can't.
Right, and they need to get that put in there so you see how many they've done. I will tell you what, I understand that. Because that was my biggest gripe. I think as a racer, it probably feels better because you have that, like, oh, I can do that. But I also think that maybe you also have to have the fortitude to know that, hey, this guy is like 10 seconds away from me, but we're still racing for position.
So now, as a racer, not only do you got to do everything that you got to do, but now you got to also do math.
Oh, your pick guy does. Your pick guy does.
Somebody does. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'll be honest.
It's cool. It's a gimmick. Look, it's no different from a wall ride or a
okay,
jump.
Here's a question for you. Does the Joker lane take away from the performance of some of these guys because it's a Joker lane? Or do you think
it's not? It's just not. So it's Psycho. So Psycho can do whatever they want because it's a psychotic event. So sure, let's throw in all kinds of crazy stuff. But me personally, just trying to watch the race, and I don't like the Joker lane. I just don't like it. It's just.
But I understand that. I understand that because that was my biggest gripe watching it.
Yeah.
But I think what has to happen is, they need to, because it's hard to keep. If it's just one, like qualifiers, you can keep track of. It's one, right?
Right.
But when you get up to multiples, it gets difficult, and that's where I think in the software, and I know that they were talking about it, but because it's just one race, they have to have the like a tracker there. So, you know, so
how about the people watching at home?
Well, we're able to
wonder what they think. You know, do they like the Joker lane or do they not like the Joker lane?
We need to find out.
I haven't watched Psycho at home. All right, so everyone in this podcast that's listening, why don't you leave a comment below? Do you like the Joker lane or do you not like the Joker lane? Is it easier to watch or is it not? Let us know below.
When I was calling it, I always tried to say each driver and how many Joker lanes they had left as well, because I have the ability to see that, how many they have, right? And I know how difficult that would be because that was my biggest problem with that. I would wonder, like, I'll have Tebo on, I think, here shortly, and I'm going to ask him as a racer how he felt about it, you know, if he liked it or not, and what he feels about it. But what I do like about it is the suspense. What are they going to do? Is this person going to? Because I'm thinking Mason Fuller's Truggy main, didn't he like wait? Or one of his things, he just like in one of his qualifiers, that was exciting to me. That part was exciting.
Actually, no, Mason, I believe, used the he was one of the few guys in the Truggy main that used his jokers later on.
Right. So
we all were calculating, doing algebra every lap, trying to be like, all right, where's this guy at? And all of a sudden, he finally used them. Then we could finally visually follow the race.
Right. I understand that. But when I was calling it, it was exciting because we was able to see it because we have all this stuff there to see it. So we was trying to call it. It adds that, will he come in for the Joker lane? This is the pros of it. This is what it adds. Will he come into the Joker lane? Will this person follow him into pits? You know, it's like, if I was one of these guys, I would have faked like I was coming into the Joker lane. Or like, or fake like I was going to go down her. And I would have done that. I would have done something like that.
I would have taken the Joker lane every single time. And been like,
you would have been disqualified. You would have been disqualified. You would have been heavily disqualified.
It'd been funny.
You would have parked it on the straightaway like that guy did for NASCAR the other day.
I didn't see that.
The guy parked it. They said, "Oh, you got a black flag," and he parked it on this.
He's like, "All right, well."
He just parked it on the start finish line and walked away.
Who's that guy?
I don't know, but he's a legend.
Awesome. I like that. That's legend.
So,
I love that shit.
Hey, so I understand your gripe, but I tell you what, for storyline wise, it made for excitement on that side. Like, will they take this and that stuff? And this person took their thing, and like everybody follows them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That side made it exciting.
Well, I wasn't watching the stream hardly at all, anyways. Let's talk about that live RC coverage real quick.
Well, let's talk about it. Have you watched any since you got home?
No. Well, yeah. Let's say 10 minutes.
Okay.
Look, way better on YouTube.
They did a very good job.
Clear, clean, everything. When I was watching it on live RC, it's terrible.
I have no idea what's going on with that. I never watch it on live RC. I watch it on YouTube.
I don't think they have they're not trying to push the power it takes to push a high stream or a high definition stream through their website where then they can easily.
You got so much reach, more reach on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah.
So,
but I just see a lot of complaints in the comment section through live RC. I was on live RC all weekend because I was looking, going back and forth, when were people racing, so I'd look at the video and then kind of read the comments sometimes, and people keep griping about it on live RC, and live RC would comment, hey, just go to the YouTube page and it's going to be a lot more clear.
Yeah. And that's where everybody watched this, on the YouTube. I mean, that's the chat that we monitor mostly. There were some people in Facebook, but not as much as YouTube. I think they had like 1,500 at one point watching
on YouTube.
Yeah, and that's also something that's fun on the commentary side, interacting with that crowd, because I'm thinking I want to make the best show for people at home, because I want these people to feel like they're here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the same I would want to feel. So I think me and Scotty did a good job. There's and I think Live RC did a good. They had multiple cameras, so they had the two cameramen. They had Travis and the other dude, and then they had static cams around. They had a great cam on the straightaway, which I thought was great, which did get taken out a couple of times. And they had the pit lane cam was good too, which did get taken out as well. They did not have a pit lane ticker this time, but I think that's more to do with the race, not them. So I thought that coverage was, people at home seemed to enjoy it. I think they enjoyed that part of it. I know the one camera coming off when the leap of faith, the downside was a little fuzzy. I don't know what was up with that, but it just wasn't. You could see the car, but it wasn't the best. So that was the one off camera, but I thought that was great. And yeah, I thought they did a good job. They, we tried to get down there and get interviews from people. I wanted to do more of that. And I don't know, maybe if I do work with RC Racing TV, which I have worked with, but if I do work with Live RC again, I would definitely push for more of that and more of getting on and among the people, because that's, if I go, that's my strong point, being out and out about around people,
being with the people.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I really enjoy the commentating, but when you do these type of races, you don't get out that much. And so when I did get out, it was this person wants to talk to me, and I ended up talking to Matt from Techno for a long time, because that's another thing I'm going to talk about in a bit, the buzz for Raw. But I love getting out and talking to people. Yeah. And I know that for some people, for me, when you have that, that's what I want to bring. People at home want that atmosphere too. And I think that also puts some spotlight on the people that are there that, pay the bills.
Well,
and support what I do and support what we do. We wouldn't have, without these people, we won't have these pro classes. So,
And you can only watch these cars go around a track so many times, Mm-hmm. Sometimes you want to know who's behind that car, who's driving that thing. Let's talk to them. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Let's get to know you just a little bit,
Because it's about the people too,
It is the people.
It is the people. And that's this is these people that are out there that come up and it's so many people that will come up and say, hey man, I listen to your stuff while I'm wrenching and this and that and that. And I'm just I'm still blown away by it all. And I'm just man, I just want to sit there and talk to all of them. I want to talk to everybody.
Yeah. And
obviously when I do these type of events, it's not possible. But yeah, my way of talking to them is probably getting up there and doing those walkabouts. Yep. And just putting some spotlight on that person. And maybe his friends are watching that at home and they're like, hey, he was on this, and that's I think that's one of the good things of our sport versus / hobby is that you can do that. You can't do that at any other type of sport. Yep. So I hope I think that Live RC, you can see they definitely put a lot more effort, and they put a lot more effort into the recent Raw Nationals as well, like the Corporate Owner Nationals, where they sent 2 people. So yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, man. Like they know their shit. Like I've worked now with 2 of the best, I would say. I've worked with RC Racing TV and Nick Damon, who I think is excellent, and he has his style, and I like his style as well. And I've worked with Live RC for one race and watched them, and Scotty's style. I think we complement each other as well, because commentating is, you have to be kind of in tune with the person, and you're sitting there for hours talking about stuff, and you can't talk about RC and the race and all that stuff the entire time. So you start talking about things, and Scotty and I are a little bit closer in age. So when he talks about, he's older than me, but I mean, some of the stuff he talks about on RC, I remember reading about it in magazines and stuff like that. So I can think about that. But yeah, when I'm doing these streams, I'm learning. I think the more I do, and the more I work with people, like working with Danny and stuff like that and all that, I am learning from each person that I go to. And I'm learning what works. I'm learning my own style of doing things, my own style of probably interviewing people, interacting with people, my own style of playing a caller role, because I am not a RD. That's a completely different role. I am not a play-by-play caller per se. I can do it, but it's not my forte. I'm a caller guy, and I like that. And I'm cool with playing backup and doing that and getting out there and talking to the people. And yeah, I hope that we can do that more, or whatever. Like, I thought that was good. But the coverage-wise, I thought it was great. I thought they stepped up. I thought they did a good job. Not just saying that because I was a part of it, but even just everything, like a lot of people, like I saw Danny out there, even though he wasn't working with Live RC, he was working with Dave. He was out there taking pictures, and Jacob was out there taking pictures, and there's like thousands of pictures as these guys are going through to put up. So these people were busy, and they were out there taking video and all that type of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. People at home, let us know what you thought about the coverage, if you liked it, if you think they stepped it up. Maybe some of the things that you want to see different, because I think that's how we improve it, right? We try to listen and do things and make it better for the next time. Something that we didn't put in the notes. So, hold on. Before we go on, let's finish off with Pro Nitro Buggy. Brandon Rose, super impressive in 3rd place. Super good for him. Boost his confidence. Mason Fuller obviously puts on a grace race, comes 2nd. I really thought he was going to do it, but then when you see Phend going out there, it's hard to beat Phend.
Hard to beat that guy.
Hard to beat Phend. It's going to be very hard for these guys to beat Phend. I feel somebody's going to do... Okay, Mayfield beats. So we should say Mayfield and Phend, right? But I think Phend is starting to just get that edge. And his edge is youth.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
And that's something that Mayfield can't compete with. He cannot
get on an even level right now when it comes to skill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much longer Mayfield can keep getting better. I mean, that dude's been kicking butt, but I mean, eventually.
But Phend can get better.
Yes, Phend can keep getting better just because of youth. Now, Mayfield, eventually, age has got to catch up to him sometime.
Right.
At
some point. And
So
then that's not even. We got the Fullers. We got the Brandon Rose is legitimate. Seth and Dalen looking good this weekend. Who else? I'm gonna go through a couple of people that impressed me this weekend in Pro Nitro Buggy. So look, Brandon Rose impressive. Tater Sontag.
Yeah, Tater.
Mm-hmm. Silently being good.
Just silent. Yep, silent assassin right there. Tater.
Caden Fuller 6. So look, we had Dakota Phend 27, Mason Fuller 17, Brandon Rose 18, 19, Mayfield 35, Tater Sontag 16, Caden Fuller 15. Yeah. Ryan Lutz had a 7th. Maybe not the result that he wanted, but I thought that was good. 8th, not the result that Bornhorst wants. Wiggins 9th. I think that's okay. He looked good all weekend. 10th for Drake. That's good for him. Tebo 11th. Not what I expected from Tebo. I can't say because I didn't really watch much of. That's the other thing. When you're in there, you're not able to watch everybody's call. You're watching what's on the screen. So when I did watch him, it was very few. I don't know what happened this race.
Tebo?
Yeah. I don't know.
Let's talk about Tebo.
Well, let's talk about him. Retirement. They had a great thing for him at the race too.
Did Tebo know that they were doing that retirement thing for him? Essentially putting that gravestone, making it permanent.
No, I don't think he knew it. He didn't know it. But I thought it was a great gesture. It was a good gesture.
If Tebo could go back and not announce his retirement, would he do it?
Do you think he had second thoughts when he saw that?
Yes.
I know what you mean.
I was thinking it the whole time. I was like, did they talk to Tebo about this beforehand?
No. But I think, do you mean like when he watched that?
I don't think Tebo really wants to retire.
I'm going to have him on her.
The fire in him.
I'm going to have him on her next week, and I'm going to find out more about that.
Yeah, we need to find out more, Keenan.
Because when I see that, right? When I saw that, which was a very touching tribute, well done to everybody put that together.
It was great, but it finalized it. Yeah, it was like, all right, there you go. You're retired now, buddy.
Well, I mean, look, Tom Brady retired twice.
True.
So I like Tebow as my boy, but I just think it's very hard. I think he's had a 23-year career. He's won, like when they listed off the amount of races that you won. But when you sit there and you see that, it's like, this is really happening.
That's final. Well, I ain't got nowhere to go now.
I would be like, oh, maybe I don't want to quit. No, you know
right.
what I mean?
I know. That's what I was thinking.
But it was great. It was a really good touching thing.
It was.
I'm going to have him more next week.
Dave of them to do that.
Yes.
But I was just like, it's
like
this
final,
really finalizes it,
Yeah, it's like he really
There's no
is
going
retired.
back.
Well, you can always come back.
There is, yeah, right. But I'm just trying to be funny about it.
It was, but I feel like it's like when you see that and you look back on your career, you're just like, am I ready to walk away from this?
Right.
Because that kind of puts it all in front of you.
Yeah.
It was a great video. He went up there, not his best race. I know he's not happy about that. But that's how it goes. There's fucking a lot of fucking fast guys out there, man.
Hey, look, and these older guys,
been
around forever. I can't believe they keep doing it. I'm like, how these guys that are all middle age, borderline 40, still dominate, like Mayfield and Tebo, Cav, he's kind of falling off a little bit, but still he's there grinding away. Like I've been waiting for this younger generation to step up, and they're having a really hard time doing it. Now they're slowly chipping away. They're getting there.
I would agree with you.
It's not far away, but it's just like, Lord mercy. This is the only sport you can just go into your mid 40s and still just kick ass.
Yeah. Well, they're still a little bit away from 40. Well, I think that these, like it comes back. I think these older guys, these older racers, they're going to struggle on these bigger tracks. Yeah. And especially a track like this, which is indoors. And when you're out there, glasses.
Get some of those Mayfield's got glasses. Looking at some of these bad boys right here.
All right, but let's talk about, I forgot about this. Let's talk about drivers that were not there. So we didn't have Ty Tessman, who went to a 10 scale race, which I kind of knew he was going to. We had Cap. All right, we're going to get to that. We had Cavallari. I think Cavallari, his daughter, his new daughter, her first birthday. So that's what I was told. So
how many kids you got?
She's got 2.
Okay.
So this is her first birthday. So I understand wanting to be him for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think the biggest shock was the beast from the East, the people's champ, Cole Ogden. And when I asked what happened, I heard he's boycotting Dave or something like that.
Yeah, I think Dave hurt his feelings a little bit at some point.
I think they got in after SIC or something.
I heard some stories or whatever. So, Cole just needs to put some ice on his and come on back.
He's going to be mad at you. He's going to be mad at you.
Nah, he'll respect me for that.
I must admit, like it's weird not having Cole at this race. It was weird.
Yeah, he'll be back. Cole Ogden, he's a Southeast guy. He just had to make a point.
I think so. He'll be back. Also impressive in this. I have to give him some props. Cole Caston, man. Gotta give Cole Caston some props. Southeast Georgia racer. Been putting in a lot of work in his Southeast race. Good to see him making some mains. He looked pretty good all weekend. You know, I really like his dad. Cole's very quiet. Doesn't say much. And I talk more to his dad than anybody.
Didn't he move from like the West Coast or something?
I have no idea, but I believe they live in Georgia.
Yeah. I don't know him very well. I've heard the name.
Very nice people.
Yeah.
He came in 12th. And then Seth and Dana, like I said, Techno not having 13, not having the best nitro buggy finish. Evan Vale bumping up from the B main to finish 14th.
Vale broke. He TQ'd his B main of Nitro Truggy and broke in the first lap of practice.
Yes, I saw that. I remember that.
Good job, Vale.
But he did make the big show. And
he did.
He finished. And then Spencer Heckert, who finished, he started 8th, finished 15th. Not happy about that. Rivkin, who started 2nd and finished 16th. He'd not be happy about that.
No.
Spinrad making another main. Lee Setzer making the main, but probably not having the race that he wanted to. And then I would say probably the next guy down that probably should have made this and didn't would be Tyler Jones.
For what? Nitro Buggy?
Yes, he just missed it. He just missed it.
Close. He was there.
Yeah.
I think he had a couple mistakes in the B. The Agama Buggy.
Did you get a look at the new N1 at all?
I did not, but I visualized it in my head.
I mean, I've seen it.
What a cool car, right?
It is very cool, and it's very good to see it on this big, jumpy USA track.
I asked Tyler, what's going on with the car? How different is it really? Does it feel any different? He says it doesn't really feel a whole lot different from most buggies he's driven. Now, he did tell me he's got like a 20-hole piston in his shocks.
Really?
Yes, of multiple size of holes. So obviously you're gonna have to be way more weird with those shocks than you would like a traditional stand-up shock system, right? Because they're laid down. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I'm really interested because when it comes to innovation in RC, there's not a whole lot that makes just big steps, right? It's very small, minute things. You change angle here.
But this is completely different, right?
So different, so innovative. It's almost like that paper filter from Clinic RC that it's hit and miss, but it was very brave for them to do it.
Right.
The Agama, dude, they've just separated themselves from everybody else and like, we're gonna try it this way.
I like that.
It's very cool. It's really cool. I didn't get a real close look at the car, but I'm really interested. It's
I am
cool.
interested in seeing it in more hands of regular people.
Yeah, it's just cool. Like it's ballsy. You got to have big balls to do something like that because it's so far from what everyone has done for so long. Half these freaking chassis just rip off each other. I mean, all right, that works. Let's copy that. All right, that works. Let's copy that. Take an AE and a Mugen, and they're damn near identical. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I agree with you. It's good to see something
Agama
different.
Doing that, all the props in the world to these people.
And he only had his. That. I think Jones only had like a weekend prior on this car. Like
really?
He went down to Texas to hang out with Billy at his track, and it's a rough track. And he went there. I think he went to like Thornhill and all that stuff. And I think Tyler Jones is kind of also doing the part-time, like he works full-time RC part-time. So it was good to see them. I want to see more of this car. I like it. John Hazelwood and the guys over there in the UK that are behind this, him, Mark Rumble, Lee Martin, they're really nice guys. They believe in it. And over in the UK, like Agama has a very big following. So
such different tracks.
Right. But I mean, now he's on a rough track, and well, this wasn't a rough track, but now we'll see. Now we'll see how they work.
And I think Tyler Jones is a great person,
driver
to try to see where this car can go. When people test stuff in Europe, it's not the same thing when it's being taken place in America. It's just different kind of tracks. Everything is different. The weather, everything is different. The surface they're messing with. So what works in Europe doesn't always actually translate to America. But if you have a person who is willing to experiment with these things, they can make it happen on this side of the world as opposed to the European side.
I agree. And I think I look forward to watching his progression with this.
Yeah, I think Tyler Jones, besides Tyler, if Seth Van Dalen could get on Agama,
yeah,
those guys, the Van Dalens, they are very, very innovative.
Oh yeah,
they will make
Sean loves all that
parts.
stuff.
They will do some stuff. And I think that's kind of what the Agama car would require, is people who can think outside of the box.
Okay. All right. So enough of us geeking out on that. I thought that was a good race. Dakota Phend, somebody's got to beat this guy. I guess the next race we'll see all these guys race at. I know they're having a Nats warm-up. I'm not sure if everybody's going, but we'll probably see all these guys at Silver State. I know there's a few Europeans coming. We're going to see the Killick brothers there. They're coming for the first time to America. It's going to be interesting. I know like a few of like Elliott Boots. I think Juan Carlos Canassa is coming. We're going to see this young, fast guy from Australia come named Alex Bernardzek, who these Australian guys have been talking about. He's been beating Kyle McBride down there in Australia. He's an associate driver, first time to America. So that's going to be good to see. But man, I think we're going to see this is going to be one of Phend's weaknesses. Like, this is going to be a really rough track, I think. But I mean, I don't know. I think Phend could do it anywhere, to be honest.
So who's gonna make their mark, the Killicks or the Fullers?
That's a good, interesting question. We're gonna see two Tessa brothers go at it here very shortly.
Which ones
in America?
Make the call.
I cannot go against the.
Who do you think in the next Worlds? Who's gonna make the bigger impact? The Fullers
it depends where the Worlds
or the Killicks? Who cares? Just make a call.
I think we'll get one from each.
I think the Fullers.
I think we'll get one from each.
Well, yeah. I think there'll be a really, really close, almost like splitting hairs. I guess it does depend on where it's going to be at, doesn't it?
Yeah, from what I heard, it's going to be Brazil. So, yeah, no, it's supposed to go to Brazil. It's supposed to go to Brazil. No, trust me.
Didn't they try that before? And everyone's like,
yeah, but it's going to be right in this. It's going to be right in Sao Paulo. It's a city, 22 minutes. That's where we was. Like in when we went there. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the Killicks on a track like this in America.
They are making moves for sure.
Oh yeah, they were.
It's such a close comparison, isn't it?
Well,
between the Fullers and the Killicks,
I would say so. I think that all four of those young guys and the other ones that are coming up behind them are on the cusp of the next evolution of driving. They're just doing it.
Fee is the next evolution of driving.
Right, but I mean, he's a part of that. That's what I'm talking about. But these guys are what I say it over and over. Like I watch the Killicks, I watch Fullers, I watch like the Parentes and all that stuff and us at the Worlds, and what they're doing with these cars, they're just doing it. I don't think they know what they're doing yet, but once they figure out what they're doing, it's gonna be, these guys are gonna have to catch up. One thing we need to touch on, the jump competition that we had on the Leap of Faith.
It was pretty cool.
I thought it was pretty cool. I think I like the long jump. We didn't have it this year, but I thought one thing I wanted to say about it was pretty cool to hear Adam Drake and Bornhorst like kids up there. Like, oh, you should do a backflip and turn it this way so it does this. And I'm like, all this RC that you guys do, and you're still up here geeking out over jumping off big jumps.
All those pros, they are hardcore RC enthusiasts. They like RC in general. Every pro that I've gotten to know just a little bit, they love RC. It's not just 8-scale racing or whatever. They just like RC stuff.
Hey, they were like, Drake put Truggy tires on his car. And
then
it's good to see.
Streetcar Traxxas.
I know.
Was it? I don't even remember what it was.
Some Traxxas like
some sort of streetcar Traxxas.
But it did a whole bunch of twists and turns.
I thought that should have won. I don't know who actually won.
It didn't drive away. Apparently.
Oh well, it should have.
So,
it still won in my book.
Yeah, I thought that was fun. I was a little bit nervous, like DJ and that. I've never done anything. Like I talk for a living, but I haven't really talked in front of people like that. You know what I mean? So it was fun. I thought I will be honest with you, man. I think I said it in the beginning. This trip was good for me, like in a certain way. Like it was good for my soul, RC soul. I needed to be around my people, which I consider like my extended RC family, and be around some nitro racing, see some good racing on a big track. And I'm really glad I got to go. I'm really glad. I would like to thank Live RC for having me there. I like to thank Dave and the guys for welcoming me there as well. And it was great to see you and Brad and all my friends, all the Mayako guys like Tony and Jason and guys I haven't seen for a while. Meet new people that support the podcast, and just it's just great to do that. And I almost forgot. There is a great positive, very great positive buzz and vibe going on right now about Roar.
Yes.
I heard this from multiple people. I heard this from manufacturers. I sat down with a manufacturer for about 30 minutes talking about this. I have not seen a buzz like this about Roar in quite some time, and it's good to see.
I had a long conversation with Donathan,
my boy
Charge
Zach.
Leads. Zach
Donovan.
Yeah.
Donovan and RC.
Yeah. He asked me about it and what I'd do differently, and he probably wish he didn't.
Oh boy.
I'm like, don't even get me started. But it's funny because I didn't even talk to you about this. But I feel great buzz change going on with Roar. And on the Beach RC side, I can't really speak for Brent. For the most part, from what I gathered, we've never been interested in a national event or a world's event because we got lots of reasons why, but it's not worthwhile to us.
Right.
I think Brent and Beach RC is more interested in doing a national than we've ever been now with Clayton Young coming in and taking care of business. We're not saying anything like that, but the conversation I had, the conversation I had with Zach is, we've never been interested, and now we're kind of interested. Look, Clayton has a lot of work to do, and he's got to dig himself out of a big ass hole that he didn't even dig, but he's in it now. And Roar's got a lot of stuff they got to take care of. I can't believe they're in debt and don't have money in the bank. It's ridiculous. But I have high hopes and aspirations for change, and I hope there's a good governing body in America soon. Hopefully it's Roar, because Clayton can take care of business. But like, I've pretty much hated Roar ever since I got into this sport because I thought it was illegitimate.
Right.
And now it looks like it has some sort of promise. I hope it keeps going in that direction.
I agree, man. I mean, I sat down, like I talked to Brent. Him and I had a very good conversation. He mentioned the same things to me. I talked to another couple other manufacturers who are super excited. But that's what it's going to take, right? We need these manufacturers to get behind them. They need to.
That's right.
They need to also put money into it. I think we need to put money into it. We need to look at. Scotty brings up a good point because he says that we need to probably make more. People need to get compensated. You know what I mean? Nothing, it's volunteer is great, but people should get compensated for their time.
Right.
And I think we need to use these. My thing is like, not only do we need to use the manufacturers' help, but we need to use these pro racers to help promote Roar as well. And that's what they're there for, in my opinion.
Everybody needs incentive.
Mm-hmm.
Roar member needs incentive to be a Roar member. from the very bottom. The Roar doesn't exist if it isn't for the members, right?
Exactly.
People are only members to do a national race or whatever. There's not a whole lot of reasons for people to become a Roar member, up until recently, right?
Right.
Roar should have just about 75% of tracks on board to their program, which means that all those racers for those 75% of tracks in America are also on board to the program. This is how a good organizational body can exist. Any motorsport in this country is under some sort of legitimate governing body organization. I'm not talking about RC. I'm talking about every other motorsport in America, the AMA or dirt, whatever, on road, off road, go karting. There's organizations that are respectable, and you want to be part of it. You have to be part of it, participate. And that's where Roar eventually needs to be. I want to be a Roar member, but I first need to have a reason to become a Roar member. I'm not going to sign up to some organizational body that is in debt. I want an organizational body that has money in the bank and can freaking take care of my needs and make sure I'm an insured racer or a licensed racer. Make sure my track, my local track is a track that's under an organizational body that is covered for worst case scenario situations. That's how Roar needs to be. Hopefully it'll get there. And we all need incentives. A pro needs to be incentivized to be part of Roar. Everyone needs to want to be part of Roar, not, hey, I got to sign up to be Roar because I want to race in this one
national. You want to be it will bring some pride to RC.
Yeah. And let's make,
you know what I mean?
Let's make the nationals great again by qualifying to get to the nationals.
I agree. Even if we piggyback off some of these races.
Yes. Yeah. Look, qualify to be in a national, not I'm going to get on the internet and be the first 300 people to sign up to be a national. It's stupid. It makes no sense. Like,
I agree.
All right, if I go on the internet when they release the 8-scale national nitro, right, and I sign up for it on time, like before everybody else. Oh man, I just made the nationals, guys.
Yeah,
no, I don't even belong there, because if I had to race in a regional race to qualify to nationals, I wouldn't have even came close. So
also, if when people do get on board and things like that, we can have a real ranking system.
Yes.
And we can actually have a licensing system.
You could have like a B nationals.
Exactly.
Not paid nationals, just like in Europe, where there's the B's and the A's, you have to earn your way to get to this national championship by qualifying through these particular races or B's or whatever.
I had this conversation for manufacturer this weekend. It was actually, he was telling me about it, and he says Raw can do it. He likes the licensing system because they have a licensing system over in England in the BRCA, where you're like an F2 pilot, and then it makes people want to become so we get from here's what licensing and making a license system and doing all this ranking system, all that stuff does. It changes the turn from I want to get a better deal and I want to get sponsored to I would like to be a F1 pilot. I would like to get my F1 license
so I can get a better deal.
Yeah, all that stuff. And none of that. It's just that's more attainable. Like that's more, and has to have some prestige to it. But it takes time. We have to. It's been stripped on to nothing, and now it has to be built back up.
100%.
And
it's a lot of building to do.
And but the vibe and the atmosphere about it is absolutely positive. Yes, when they mess up, we're gonna have to let them know. But I think we have good people, and you know what we need? We need more regional people, and we need more off-road people involved. So please get involved. I'm doing my part. I'm not involved. I'm not a Raw member, but I'm helping out my way. And I believe in what Clayton's doing, and I am a firm believer in feathering governing bodies for RC, and they should be leading in charge in what we're doing. I think that's it. Oh, have you decided what you're going to do? Are you going to the Nationals next in June, or
I'm supposed to go to the Nationals?
Okay.
Which would be my first Nationals I go to. Not to race, because I didn't qualify to get there, or I didn't get on the internet on time to register. But I'm going to go there purely to enjoy it. And really, most importantly, I'm going to go there to shoot video and actually do another documentary.
Great. Awesome. I'm super glad you joined me for this recap, Lucas. I wanted to get somebody that kind of had been to the race, and I thought, wow, who would be perfect? Who was watching the race, who got to talk to people, who got to see all the parts they broke and heard everybody's complaints. Because I'm sure you heard it all, but you also got to watch it. So I appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure recapping this with you, and I had a lot of fun.
All right, couple things real quick.
Oh, I wanted to also say, great job to all of Dave's people that did this. I thought it was great. I thought the track was great. So shout out to Bobby and Trackmasters. Did a great job. It was good to see Bobby again. He came out, gave me a big hug, even though he's been in a bad accident. Bobby has like the worst luck. He's always getting something wrong with him. Like, you know what I mean? Had a big accident. Yeah. Lucky to be alive. And I think shout out to Jason, man. I hope he heals up. Well, I heard he broke his leg after this.
Look
like that.
All right.
Go ahead.
Two things. Does J Concepts have an unfair advantage?
We forgot about that. Yes, how could we not forget about
events? That? Not because they get any special privileges or anything, just because their tires are just so much better than everybody else.
Hot Race is almost there.
At RaceTime events,
Hot Race is almost there. Look at B-Rose this weekend. So B-Rose was good. Let's see. Let's go here and look at Hot Race.
What place would a B-Rose finish if he was on J Concepts?
I mean, we can ask that question too. But all right, so we had
I don't know.
Phend. So we had J Concepts, Hot Race, J Concepts, Pro Line, J Concepts, aka J Concepts, Hot Race, aka
what is it?
J Concepts. Is Evan Vale on J Concepts or Pro Line?
I'm not sure. I think he's getting off of Pro Line, looking for a new tire deal, possibly.
Right. So definitely a lot of J Concepts there. But at these races,
I've talked to people. They're like, look, it's just something about their rubber that works better at RaceTime events. It's just a southeast dirt.
Of course, they should know how the dirt works over here.
Here's another thing. All right, so J Concepts got a lot of compounds. They got a lot of tread patterns. They find a compound and tread pattern to work just about anywhere. But what they really honestly dominate in, and I'm not a J Concept guy. I have no ties to these people whatsoever. I'm just looking at it from a perspective of a guy from the outside in. Their support system in the Southeast is
exceptional.
Second to none. Mm-hmm. Nobody even comes close.
Of course.
They are at every big race. They're in full force with their tents, their truck, their supply of tires. They're there to support their drivers 100% all the time. I don't see Pro Line there. Pro Line's huge.
Not on the East Coast. On the West Coast, they're there.
Maybe on the West Coast, yeah.
That's where J Concepts isn't. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So over there, they don't have that support network that they have here. It's starting to get there with Drake being involved there, like in SoCal. But yeah, I know what you mean. And yeah, it's like, let's be honest. If J Concepts is the tire to be on in these indoor races at RaceTime Entertainment races.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
They have the magic. They have the magic compound and tire, and this is their home turf, and that's how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
So, right. But Hot Race is coming. But
they're making moves. They're making moves. We'll see where it goes. There are a crap ton of small tire manufacturers.
They just released another one today, this morning when we was recording this. So
more power to them.
That's something we should tackle in the next podcast we got together. Is the 1/8 scale tire market too saturated?
Saturated. Lord of mercy. Hey, you know what? For the average Joes, no, it's not, because we need better prices on tires.
Hey, what else did you have?
Last thing. All right, I want to give Mark San Maria a big congratulations to that 100,000 subscribers. He's been working his ass off for about 5 years, I think. Awesome. The most mind-blowing thing of all Psycho. Katie Carmody raced like a girl. I'm subscribed to her.
She has a lot of subscribers.
She went from probably about 500 subscribers to 200 about 50,000.
Yep. I checked it the other day.
Subscribers in a matter of months. Race Like a Girl YouTube channel. If you haven't checked her out yet, which you probably have, you need to go check her out because she's doing legendary stuff. It's what YouTubers talk about as legendary. To get 250,000 subscribers in a matter of months is just freaking mind blowing. Like I'm in awe.
I checked that channel the other day.
It's like
265,000 subs.
She literally had 500 subscribers just a few months ago. So if you're listening to this podcast, you might want to go check out Katie's channel. She did have to delete some videos, but the videos she's got up there are killing it. She's got one video that's got 200 million views or something.
I think it's our pit ones.
Yeah,
she's got a big
pit stop videos.
She's been on Super Blondie. She's been on Super Blondie. And
I've seen other major influencers who actually showcase their videos as well. It's unbelievable. I had to say something about it because I've never been as mind blown as that. That like, I can't believe it. It's crazy. It's
you know what? And you know what? I just want all that content. Those little shorts, that short of her refueling. It just means more eyes on what we do, and that's all I care about.
Let's get 10% of those 250,000 subscribers to get into RC.
Oh, it would change the whole entire RC racing. It would change the entire
25,000 people, right?
It would change RC completely. Yeah. Racing completely.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah,
awesome.
And also they have very good. Speaking of Commentating and Race Like a Girl, they have a very good Future Stars of RC initiative that I think that many other tracks should talk to them about implementing in their tracks because it's a very good incentive. And
they make a huge difference in this area in the RC community. They do a lot of awesome things that Carmonies do.
Yep.
And congratulations to David and Katie. It's just awesome. I'm in awe of it, honestly.
Yeah. Good people. That like just part of my good friends. I like to see them every race. We always say like me, them. It's like them, Marlo, DJ, Bobo when is around, and we were like, oh, we'll go out to dinner. We did it once, but we haven't did it since. So I need to go out to dinner with them one race when I get to a race.
Yeah.
And you guys have a race coming up. Springsteen?
Springsteen should be in 2 weeks.
Okay. At Badlands.
At Badlands. Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Should be fun. Last year we got like 150 entries. So hopefully we'll get 150 entries again. And we'll have a good time and party a little bit.
I'm sure. Are you racing or just working?
I ain't got a car to race, Keenan.
Well, it's time to fix that.
I was talking.
You work at a hobby shop.
Yeah. I was waiting for some manufacturers to step up and give me some free shit so I could sell their product a little more, but no one stepped up. So
you know what? We need to get you on YouTube. We need to get that BTRC YouTube going. Hit the sub buttons. Keep going. He's got a really great documentary that I think is well done. Great job on that.
Thank you.
I think it should definitely have a lot more views than it should. But that's
why I haven't done
sometimes
anything since. Yeah, blew my load and I didn't get much in return. So I've been taking a nice long break and I'm going to come back stronger and it'll be awesome. Whatever videos I make, they're going to be sweet. But, I'm going to pick my poison and do it properly.
Sweet. All right, Lucas. Well, thank you for your time. It was a pleasure recording with you. Keep up the good work at BTRC. And I look forward to your next bunch of content and enjoy RC and get yourself a car for Springsteen.
Okay. If anyone wants to give me some free shit, let me know.
Yeah, hit him up, Lucas Lauren. Lucas Lauren on Facebook.
Yeah.
And check out the BTRC YouTube. And hit that freaking like and notification button, people.
That's right.
Yeah, especially on those documentaries. Very good spotlight on very young races and female races too, and a good family race as well. So very good. All right, Lucas, I'm gonna talk to you later, man. You have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Good Easter.
You too.
Bye-bye.
And thank you to Clinic RC and for their continued support. If you want to get more information about their racetrack engines, check them out at clinicrc.com. Thank you to Tony and Vicky for all their support. And thus ends our podcast, everybody. Thank you to Lucas for his time, for coming on. It was a great chat. It was good to have him on. I think Lucas had a lot of fun as well. So maybe we'll see him on for some more recaps and stuff as he goes through races. Also, thank you once again to Brandon Roddy, Live RC, Scotty, and everybody involved there. Thank you to Dave Leikum, RaceTime Entertainment, Bobby Moore, and everybody for having me there at the race. It was good to be there. It was good to see Lance McDonald as well as Danny as well. And just good to see everybody there, man. Thank you to everybody that showed myself some love, showed the podcast some love. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you to my good buddy Mike Hill and his wife Heather for having me there as well, because I flew into Charlotte, and he drove me up, and then I spent a night there coming back. It was really good to hang out with my friend, my good buddy. Another road trip in the books for us. We've been on quite a few road trips together, so that was fun. And yeah, just congratulations to all the winners. Dakota Phend's on fire. Mason Fuller's looking good. Congratulations to Brandon Rose. And I look forward to Silver State. This is the next race we're going to see a lot of these guys compete at. So, yeah, it's going to be great. I look forward to Carpet Nats. I look forward to Philippine Masters, North Georgia Shootout. Oh, man, the list does not stop. But once again, it was great to be out there in my environment, around the people, smelling nitro, in my happy place, which is the track. And honestly, without you guys' support, none of this is possible. So thank you to everybody around the world for the support of the NNRC and helping us grow. And hopefully you'll see me at a few more races this year. I'll be in Portugal. Can't wait. And maybe I'll get to some more races this year. But I still need you guys out there to hit that notification button, hit that sub button, hit that like or dislike button, leave a comment, share, follow us on all our socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. So follow us there. If you're listening to the podcast on an audio only format, please leave a review. Sure, it helps us out. We need to get the podcast out there, growing out in the algorithm. Boom, boom, boom. Let's help grow RC. Congratulations to Mark Santamaria on 100K. Very good for him. Super pumped for him. And yeah, thank you to everybody that showed me some love. Thank you to all of the patrons of the NNRC. Can't do without you guys' support. If you wish to be a patron, the link is in the written description of this podcast. Definitely going to be doing a patron-only podcast next week. Shout out to the NNRC Discord. And yeah, shout out to these awesome companies that support us, man. And remember, we have coupon codes, written descriptions, links. We have some affiliate links. Some of you don't have any type of coupon codes, but you just leave a note. Please go buy something from these companies. Let them know that you've heard about it on the NNRC. If you got an affiliate link, it helps us. There's also some coupon codes for you to save some money. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Some Pedal USA, Sidewinder Morgan Fuels, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Clinic RC, Ignite Design RC, Bringing Gas Truck Back, Racecraft USA, Call RC, WRCE, House of RC, RCGP. Shout out and thank you to our drivers, David Runhock, Jarrett Tebo, Robert Badier, and Alexander Hagberg. Thank you guys for all the love. Nitro Is The Glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. If you ain't grinding, you're sliding. E-Buggy be paying some bills in itself too. That's not, And 10 scale builds the skills. Lefty is out.